Hello everyone and welcome to a new reading vlog. Thank you so much for being here. For today's video, I want to continue reading a series that I have started last year in 2024, and that is none other than The Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake. If you watched this channel or my previous videos on this channel, you already know that I'm a big Olivia Blake fan. I read pretty much all of her books up until this point, and the only two that I have not read yet are the second and third books in the Atlas 6 trilogy. And those are the Atlas Paradox and the Atlas Complex. And because I have the first two books in this series in paperback, I want to buy the third one in the same edition as well to read it and to be finished with this trilogy. I quite liked the first book. The Atlas 6 was everything that I loved about Olivia Blake's writing style, and her prose fits so well to dark academia because it is elitist, it is pretentious, it is annoying at times, but that is kind of the point of a dark academia book. This felt like the secret history and If We Were Villains, but in a fantasy setting, and even more pretentious, if that is even possible. So suffice to say that I really like this one, and I'm very excited to read the next one in the series, which I have right here. And as I said before, it's called The Atlas Paradox.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
Oh my god. Siri just like started. Okay, I forgot what I was saying, but yeah, in this video I want to read the Atlas Paradox, and we'll see if I will be able to find the Atlas Complex in a bookstore. Today is Sunday, it is the 1st of February actually, so I want to start reading this one first of all, and then later today I want to go grab a coffee and then go to the bookstore to see if I can find the Atlas Complex there in the paperback version. And now that I think about it, I read the first book in October last year, so not that long ago. And I still remember some things, but I'm very curious to see if I will be able to remember like everything from the first book. We'll see how that goes when I will be starting with the Atlas Paradox. Yeah, that's the plan for today. So let's go. Let's go start reading, and I'm gonna see you in a bit.
Sitting in the basement apartment I rented with you, remembering the holiday party we had with the crew. Romeo was roaming the garden, Saturday was spent in a parking lot, gave it all we got. It was so with you. Following the leader down 8th Street to get what we can. Crawl up the walls, make a few calls to the man, promising the prominent angle.
Hello again. So I am back home now. A couple of hours have passed. I have made quite a progress with the Atlas Paradox. I am on chapter, actually it's not chapters, it's more so like parts. So I am on part 4, which is entropy, and I have read up until the page 158. So I am roughly 30-ish% of the way through. And my main issue or my main fear was that I will not remember what happened in the first book, and I will not remember the characters and their whole spiel, if you will. But I'm happy to report that that was not the case. I actually remembered quite a bit from the first one, and the characters and the relationship between them and stuff like that. So I'm very happy with that. Also, I forgot how annoying these characters were, but in the best way. That's kind of the point of it, because it's dark academia and it's critiquing elitism and entitlement, and these people are not good people. I should learn my lesson because Olivia Blake never disappoints. And speaking of disappointments, I have not found the Atlas Complex at the bookstore today. They didn't have it in the physical location. It was only on the website. That's that. So I don't think I'm going to read that book in this video, but hopefully I will be able to read it this month, because I enjoyed this series quite a bit. But obviously I couldn't leave empty-handed from the bookstore. It's what I say to myself to make it make sense that I'd spend money again on books. I have been seeing this book everywhere recently, or not recently, but throughout the past half year or so. And that is Drive Your Plow Over the Bones of the Dead by Olga Tokarushk, something like that. So I want to read it. It's pretty short. It's under 300 pages, and the synopsis of this one sounds really, really interesting. So it says, in a remote Polish village, Janina, an eccentric woman in her 60s, recounts the events surrounding the disappearance of her two dogs. She is reclusive, preferring the company of animals to people. She's unconventional, believing in the stars. She is fond of the poetry of William Blake, from whose work the title of this book is taken. When members of a local hunting club are found murdered, Janina becomes involved in the investigation. By no means a conventional crime story, this existential thriller by one of Europe's major humanist writers offers thought-provoking ideas on our perceptions of madness, injustice against marginalized people, animal rights, the hypocrisy of traditional religion, belief in predestination, and caused a genuine political uproar in the author's native Poland. So very excited to get to this one. Hopefully I will be reading it rather sooner than later, because I feel like I have to get back into literary fiction at this point. I read quite a few fantasy books recently, and I think it's time to read something else as well. So this is on my TBR list for the upcoming weeks, months. We'll see how that goes. And then the other book that I got today, it's called The Teller of Small Fortunes. This is a newer release, and I saw Reagan from the Peruse Project here on YouTube read this book in one of her previous reading vlogs, and she enjoyed it, and the synopsis sounded really, really interesting to me as well. So I decided to pick this one up. So on the dust jacket it says, fleeing a troubled past, immigrant fortune teller Tao roams the dusty countryside with only her mule for company, telling small fortunes for small prices. Big fortunes come with big consequences, which she knows from bitter experience. It's a lonely life until she encounters an ex-mercenary and a semi-reformed thief who recruit her into their desperate search for a lost child. Soon, they are joined by a baker with a need for adventure and, of course, a slightly magical cat. Tao sets down a new path with companions as big-hearted as her fortunes are small. But as her friends break down her walls, the shadows of her past close in. Now, Tao must decide whether to risk everything to save the family she never thought she could have. And also it says this is perfect for fans of Legends and Lattes, which I read, and I wouldn't say it's my favorite book, but it was fine. And then A Psalm for the Wild Build, which I have on my Kindle, but I have not read yet. And The House in the Cerulean Sea, which I absolutely adored. So this is supposed to be one of those cozy fantasy type books. And also let me show you what it has underneath the dust jacket, because it's super, super cute. We have the slightly magical cat from the blurb, I feel like. And it is in this blue foiling. It looks absolutely gorgeous, and yeah, hopefully I will be enjoying this one because I had a tough time recently with books. The plan for today is to continue reading The Atlas Paradox. Obviously, I also have to do some chores around the house, so we'll see how much time I have to read today. But I will be updating you probably tomorrow with the progress made with the Atlas Paradox. So see you in a bit. Hi friends, it is the next day. It is 9:30 in the morning. It is Sunday today. Earlier I just finished The Atlas Paradox by Olivia Blake. You know how in the previous clip I said that I had some house chores to do yesterday? Well, plot twist, I didn't do any of those because this book got me so like hyped for what was happening and for these characters that I couldn't put it down. And I stayed up late last night, and I still had like 50 pages left for this morning. So I just finished this book earlier. I am so hyped for the final book in this series because at this point it's just like confirmed that someone's gonna die in the next book or in the final book. And I have a theory as to who that could potentially be, but I don't know, and I don't want to be right. So we'll see. We'll see when I get to the Atlas complex, hopefully soon. I don't think I actually told you until now what this series is about. So basically, in the first book that I have right here, the Atlas 6, we are introduced to the 6 people that all have magical powers and are chosen by this secret society. It's called the Alexandrian Society. They have access to all of the knowledge in the world because of the Library of Alexandria. But obviously, it cannot be this simple, and it is known from pretty much the beginning of the book that only 5 can remain a part of the secret society, and one of them has to be sacrificed in order for the library to maintain its magical powers, something along those lines. These 6 people, all of them have very unique powers. Libby and Nico are, I forgot exactly what is the term used, but they basically can manipulate matter with their mind. We have Bariza, who is a telepath, just as Atlas. Atlas is the caretaker of the Library of Alexandria and also the person who goes to each of these characters to recruit them to be part of this society. We then have Reina, who is a naturalist, and she's able to talk to plants, but she's also low-key able to create life. That's going to come to play in the second book more so than in the first one. And then we have Callum, who is an empath, and he can read and manipulate other people's emotions. And then last but not least, we have Tristan, who okay, so his power is not is not mentioned. I don't want to spoil anyone. So he is basically a descendant or something along those lines of a clan of witches, and his powers are not revealed from the beginning, so I don't want to spoil you with what he's able to do, but his powers are pretty much the catalyst of the events in this book and also what happens in the second one, because at the end of this book something happens to one of the characters, and then in the Atlas Paradox we are following that character as they are trying to overcome what happened to them at the end of the Atlas 6. This series also explores very classic Dark Academia themes as obsession and the thirst for knowledge and for power, and the lengths that someone can go to in order to achieve those things. Also, more so in the second book than in the first one, all of these characters are very morally gray, and even though at the beginning of book 1 there's this one specific character that can be not as, morally gray or not as villainous as all of the other characters. In this book, we are exploring their journey and what they have to do in order to achieve the things that they want to achieve, and also how power and knowledge is corrupting them. And I just think Olivia Blake did an amazing job with this character's journey in this specific book, and we got to see that pretty much no one is uncorruptible, and now all of the characters are very morally questionable. Also, there's a specific discussion between a character that we meet in this book. Her name is Belen, and one of the original six from the first book, and she introduces this idea of, okay, but if this society has all the knowledge and all the power in the world, what are they doing with it? They're just keeping it to themselves. They're not helping anyone, or they're making the rich and already powerful even more rich and powerful. So that is just like critiquing the world that we live in and who do we give power to. And I think it was very well done, because at the end of the day, this is the main purpose of Dark Academia, is to critique the society that we are living in, is to critique the academic system, the political systems and stuff like that. And I think that's why these books are so controversial, because I know not a lot of people like them, but I just think that what it was done in these books is very well done. And I'm gonna be a broken record, but I cannot wait to read the final installment of this series. So yeah, these are my thoughts on the Atlas Paradox as of right now. Okay, so book number 1 for this video was a success, and after I finished it, I kept thinking what I wanted to read next. And I'm really excited to read the book that I got yesterday at the bookstore, The Teller of Small Fortunes. I'm really excited for this one. I want to start reading it today. I also have to finish writing the script for my January reading wrap-up. I want to just put my thoughts in order for all of the books that I read in the month of January, and then for the most part, I will just continue with this book. Today is super like gloomy and foggy outside. There's barely enough light to film. I'm in front of my window right now, so I don't think I'm gonna go outside today, but we'll see. I will go brew another cup of coffee, and then I will either start reading or start writing my script, and I'm gonna see you in a bit. Hello again. It is the next day. This morning I have finished The Teller of Small Fortunes. I didn't do a great job of actually updating you as I was reading this book just because yesterday was super busy. I had to film and edit or partially edit another video, and then in the evening I really got into reading this one, and this morning I just finished it. So a very quick read. It's just above 300 pages, so you can definitely read it in one day if you wish to do so. I quite enjoyed this book. This is very heartwarming and chill and cozy. As with pretty much all of the cozy fantasy books that I have read until now, this has a very strong element of found family and of nurturing your friendships as an adult. It has a very, very teeny tiny subplot of romance, but it is nowhere near the focal point of this story. This book also has elements of political commentary because Tao is an immigrant, and we get real examples as to how her experience is as an immigrant in this kingdom. A lot of people are not treating her right, and she is quite literally traumatized from her childhood when something happens, and we get to see more of her past, of her powers, because at the beginning of the story we are led to believe that she cannot predict bigger things that are happening in people's lives. It's only small fortunes, as the title suggests. But as we get to see her more and as her friends start to become closer to her and she starts to trust them more, she opens up about her previous experiences and what it is that she can actually do with her future reading powers. As I previously said, this was fun, this was quick, this is heartwarming. It is super gloomy and foggy outside still, and I feel like this is the perfect weather to read this type of story. I had a great time. I really liked how the story wrapped up and how we were able to solve this mission that we embarked on with these characters. The structure of the book feels very episodic, we get to see this overarching plot throughout the whole book, but also in each town that we are going to, we have a certain thing that we have to achieve, and we meet different types of villagers and characters. It actually reminds me a lot of Stardew Valley in that way, but yeah, it was nice. It was nice. It's one of those palate cleanser books in between bigger reads, and I needed this pick me up, I feel like. So this is The Teller of Small Fortunes. And that being said, this is the end of today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. Please let me know in the comments down below what it is that you are currently reading right now, and hopefully I will get to see you in a new video soon. Bye everyone.